Welcome to the Womenomics podcast. Think of this time as soul care with your hosts, Tiara and Corinne. Episode 10.
Episode 10, baby.
Wow, that's so cool.
It is. We're acting like it's still our first season, but that's good though. That's good.
It's the excitement is still there.
It's still there. I love it.
What I'm like most excited about when it comes to like recording Womenomics. It's like the excitement is still there because we're still connected. Our businesses are moving in like a different direction. We're evolving as entrepreneurs, and I think it's exciting to share with people who have been like following us from like season one when we were like, okay, we just left our job a year ago, or I left my job 6 months ago, and like we're trying to see what happens here. Now we have a little bit of stake in the game. I've moved past my first year. Aren't you? You have moved past your second year into your third.
I'm into my third. No, wait, let me see.
That's right.
I started my business officially like in business 2021. So I am moving into my third year.
Yes, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love just the growth, that we've had, the pivoting that we've had just throughout this podcast, but most importantly, just in our own personal lives and our own businesses. And one of the things that has been extremely just invaluable with having a relationship with you is helping me move past my limiting beliefs. And I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you because I feel like I wouldn't have half of what I have even, in this last year, but like we wouldn't have grown even of where Womenomics is and so much more to go, right? But just not even a fraction of where Womenomics is if you weren't like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you need that person to snap you out of your limited belief. Like you're literally, I don't know what you are seeing, what you are hearing, but I'm telling you right now, looking at you, you are limiting yourself. And I need you to stop. Like that's what you do for me.
And you've done it for me. You've done it for me. You were like, I'm gonna need you to speak up in these masterminds. You crazy not to? Yeah, and that's that. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna do it. And even doing these podcasts, I mean, I have talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. How I don't like podcasts showing up, being on video, being heard, being seen. And you've helped me become so comfortable being myself, not like, because you're just naturally extroverted, real comfortable, and just from your tone to your easy laugh to, your positions and your opinions, you stand firm on them. And I admire that so much. But I think what you are for me as your co-host is you allow me and support me being myself, because you and I are very different. We have different personalities, perspectives. You're much more free-spirited, I'm more conservative, but you embrace that about me. And it's hard to find people like that, where you can feel you sometimes either want to gravitate and be more like them because you admire them, and if you're not careful, you abandon your own gifts. But you are so good at embracing other people's gifts and making them become more of who they are naturally are. I love you.
Yes, I love you too, because our minds be playing tricks on us and it really have us not thinking we God's favorite. And I hate that for us. Like I genuinely do for anybody. But for myself, like it's no way you can be this light for other people and you struggle with your own darkness. But it's true. It's true, it's genuine, it's transparent. And I always want to encourage people, get around individuals who see your light. So when you kind of forget about it or you think it's dimming, they can remind you, baby, you bright. You're shining bright. And that helps you. You don't always snap out of that limited belief that you're experiencing in that moment, but it does help you see that you are the one that's limiting yourself. People don't see you how you see you. So now it's like a you thing. So that gives you the opportunity to really deep dive into the you thing and figure out where is that part coming from that's within you.
But another part, Tiara, is that even if you don't have access or are not aware of the people that you can be around that bring light into your life, remove the people that bring darkness. because I think
Ooh,
that is much more available in our lives than the light sometimes.
speak
And
on it.
and it takes bravery to do that, because sometimes it can be in your own damn backyard. It can
Yep.
be family, it can be friends, it can be yourself. And it's so much easier to find yourself around people that have limiting beliefs, and you are the light. And your light is dimmed often because of the people you spend your time around. And you may not be aware. They don't have to be your enemies. They can just not be encouraging. They can just be waving their hand over your flame constantly, and it's holding you back. So 10 steps forward, 20 steps backwards. And sometimes that's where most of the work needs to happen, because we're constantly running toward the light. We all want to have joy and peace and clarity and progress, but we're bringing the darkness with us. So how does that help?
Mm,
So
yes.
and oftentimes we know that there's darkness, but we may not be brave enough to let it go, because sometimes that requires literally letting people go. So it's not easy, but when you realize the upside to that light, the benefits, the exponential growth that you can experience, it makes some of that loss worth it.
That's a bar.
Yeah, I know that from personal experience. It's very, very difficult moving through past friendships, or just evolving the nature of a relationship that still exists that you have with someone, but it has to change because you understand your value. You can't afford the darkness anymore. It's too damn expensive. And
Yeah.
so in the light, it's just, you just can't be overtaken by that. And so you have to at least, let people know, or just, snip, snip and move on. And that's the hardest part. So,
No, that's absolutely true. And of course, I have to throw in a shameless plug. If you have not listened to our episode on emotional currency, please go back and listen to it. It was amazing. But that is a form of emotional currency, being able to remove things, things, people, places that do add to the dimming of your light, that does create a dark cast or an overcast that you just do not need in your life, that does not impact you positively in your emotional space, is which we know needs to be positive for us to thrive in our business, personally, and relationships and everything else. So it is a form of emotional currency to remove, you
mm,
know, those negative, impactful, or influential people, places, and things. But I love that, you kind of brought that up, because a lot of that is overlooked, but we hear it a lot in entrepreneurship, where you kind of come into individuals who may not see your vision, may not share your ideas or your drive, and they may not uh, physically, trying to harm you, but they may, verbally put you down. They may start to infuse some of your thinking and your brainstorming with doubt and are you sure, and I wouldn't do it like that. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
all of these other things that we don't really pay attention to, that can subconsciously add to our limiting beliefs. And sometimes that is people.
that's it. That's
That
it.
is people. That ain't that ain't no lie right there. That's the one right there. But I feel like for me, the one thing that I've also learned during this journey is like, your limiting beliefs don't stop. They kind of evolve with you.
Mhm.
They literally, as you evolve as a business owner, your limiting beliefs will literally evolve with you. Because as you start to feel confident in your skills and in your sales and your marketing and actually accomplishing your goals, now you're going to have bigger goals.
Mhm. Yep.
Now you're going to have goals with, it's going to take exponential effort and a lot of positive thinking and consistency. And because they're bigger, now that limiting belief is bigger. And now that voice in your head is bigger. Now the people in your ear, is bigger. And so, as you, Corinne, as someone who has came into entrepreneurship, came into your own, pivoted, came into your own niche, and is now building a thriving business, has your limited beliefs chased you? they converted into something bigger, or have they actually gotten smaller? Do you got some tea you want to share with us that we can, some tips,
Mm.
tools we could use? Like, have you found that as you grew in, your profession and what you want to do and becoming more confident in that, has your limited beliefs, gotten bigger with you or gotten smaller around you?
Oh, girl. Well, I will say this. I was scared of my own shadow in comparison
Ooh,
to who I am today.
I know that's
So
right.
I am not going to downplay my growth, because I like the first episode of the podcast, season 1, we talked about the other side of fear. And the
Yeah.
fears I had then, sometimes it's crazy enough, in a lot of ways it's kind of laughable, because I'm not afraid of any of those things now. I always talk about like this podcast, like I'm not afraid to do it anymore. I have grown, and I love that. At that time, I had limited beliefs about showing up, limited beliefs about how people saw me, limited beliefs about what I was capable of. And now
Mm-hmm.
I made the commitment, like I talked about in the episode, to feel the fear and do it anyway. Be afraid, but I have a family that I love. I want to inspire my children. I know I'm worth this journey, so I would just do it with my knees shaking, and accomplish the goals that I set out. And each time I did it, there was a new muscle that was built, and so I would just feed on that over and over and over again. However, as I grow and evolve, new opportunities present themselves, and the opportunities have gotten better, but they're scarier, because
Mm,
there are parts of me, it's still that little girl deep down inside that's nervous and scared and insecure. And so my tools that I've developed over time and the muscles that I've built helps me manage that. So for example, my coach recently was telling me, you're ready to expand. You can expand your business. You can do these other things. And she would sometimes walk me through what that looks like. And I'm like, what? I never could picture myself in that type of position doing these type of things for my business, or expanding into other regions in this country. Like, that was not the vision. The vision was, I'm working for myself and I don't have no boss, and I'm more comfortable with letting people know that I'm out. I have a business. That's it. And now we're talking about true business ownership and expansion, and generational wealth. Like, that
mm-hmm.
wasn't something that I considered. And so then those self-doubt, those limited beliefs come in, because it's simply the discomfort with the unknown. It's not because I can't do it. It's not because I lack the ability. I lack the capability. It's not any of that. It's literally because it's unknown, and I can identify that now. In the past, I used to think, well, I literally can't. I've never done it. I don't have the resources. What if I lose? What if I
Mm-hmm.
go bankrupt? Like, I would have all these reasons about like my abilities, and it's irrelevant. What it really is like, I don't know what that looks like yet. But I also know, take it one activity at a time, take it one short-term goal at a time, and then the staircase continues to open up, and you learn more and more. So that's the long answer. The short answer is, I still have limiting beliefs, but I know how to manage it. Just like I
Mm,
still like to eat crappy food sometimes, but I know how to control my portions. I know
right,
how to say, all right, Corinne, if you eat one more of this, you're going to feel sick and feel like crap. So I don't do that. And
right.
so, and there are times that I do, and because I'm not perfect, and I know how to get back up. So there are days when I'm thinking, who was I kidding? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't even know why I'm doing this podcast. I feel like an imposter all over again. I thought, I'm out here telling people I got a business, but I'm terrified, or I didn't make any money all week. So I'm like going on this downward spiral, basically feeling like a failure. And it happens sometimes. It happens to all of us. And if anyone say they never feel like that, I believe that they're not being honest, because we are all having a human experience on planet Earth. So when
Okay.
I feel like that, the gift that I have now inside of me is, I allow myself to feel it, but my higher self knows that that's a damn lie. I know it's not
Mm,
true, but I'm going through the feelings. It could be hormonal. It could be, not a lack of sleep. It could just literally be limiting beliefs that have just kind of bubbled to the surface. And I allow myself to feel those things. I don't run from them. I don't make excuses. And then I work through it. And then I live to see another day. And to expedite the healing of those little episodes, I surround myself with people who have light. And it doesn't necessarily mean calling a friend or seeing someone. Sometimes it's the self-care. Sometimes it's another podcast. Sometimes it's remembering my achievements and remembering who I am on my highest level. So it's all about accessing the wisdom that you have, because the limiting beliefs are going to always be there. You can ask Obama, you can ask Oprah, you can ask a lot of successful people, and they will transparently say, sure, I have limited beliefs. Sure, I have fear, but here's how I handle it. And that's why I continue to see the success in my life.
I love that. That was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was amazing. To be honest, and I'm gonna completely expose myself here. To be honest, my limiting beliefs manifest in the form of imposter syndrome. I do not know why. I don't know where it came from. I really want to shoot at the fade. Like if I could pull the imposter syndrome outside of my body and square up, I would beat her ass. I'm sorry. Like I will whoop her ass. And I ain't never been in a fight a day in my life, and I would still whoop her ass. Like I can't. I cannot. Um and it's hilarious because when I say that out loud, people are like, girl, I know you lying. And I ain't. Like
So give me an example, Tiara. So because you talk about it so much, and I know
I
you
do.
so well now, but I still can't picture it with you. I understand it because it happens to the best of us, but you talk about it more than I do, and oftentimes I'm the one feeling like it. So what does that look like today for you versus what it did a year ago?
It's interesting because it's definitely me. Imposter syndrome is all internal. So it's definitely me, but I can't even tell you. All right, let me see this. All right, let me see this. When I first started, I didn't really know anything, right? I was kind of dibbling and dabbling. I've always came out in a space of like, this is my first year of doing whatever. This is my X, Y, and Z. Like I always almost like outed that I was a novice. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have no problem with that because I just feel like I'm in a position to say that I just started and, I'm saying, things of that nature. I think where you start to develop that imposter syndrome is when you are upfront about something that's not even necessarily a shortcoming. It is what it is. And people, I don't think they recognize, and I don't think their intention is to attack your inner self, right? Your inner critic, or matter of fact, not even attack, like come into agreement or alliance with your inner critic, but they will say things that will give your inner critic validation to speak louder, right? So if I'm saying, oh, I'm a novice at X, Y, and Z, then when somebody comes in and be like, are you sure you're gonna be good at it? Then it introduces the thought of, am I sure I'm gonna be good at it? Or even, when I started the Wedding and Fishing Academy, I had also just started, and it wasn't a situation of, all right, I'm going to teach you my years and years and years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was that we're going to develop a community that shares tips, tricks, for thriving wedding officiants. Like the whole idea was to share all the information that we've been learning in this community because anyone can use it and it can be helpful. And we're not all in competition. There's a million people in this world that want to get married, get remarried, all that other type of stuff. There's no competition. And
Mm-hmm.
then people come to me like, well, who are you to start an academy? And it's like
Mm-hmm.
the person who started it. And like you don't think about it, right? In that moment, you're just like, what are you talking about? And like I literally just thought about it and I did it. But it really does add something to that inner critic that's like, girl, what is you doing this? You know what I'm saying? You are a beginner, but it's like you almost have to kind of remind yourself, like, what is the reason for you starting? Even in my own business as a wedding officiant, because I am still, and I'm in my second year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love it. I do a great job, but I still be like, oh, they don't know how long I've been doing it. They have confidence in me, girl. That's why they paid me, like as much as they paid me, like, 'cause so their confidence is there, but then mine is just like, oh, well, what if I mess up, or what if I don't do this right, or what if they don't have a good experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yet all of my 5-star reviews tell me different.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say imposter syndrome, it's literally you, it's your mind playing tricks on what you think your abilities are, your fruit, what you do in the real world, the results that you have, that is like what your actual like presence in the world is like, not what you conjure up in your head. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even do the thing yet. And even when
Mhm.
you do the thing and your mind is telling you different, but your fruit, your results, your real world experiences tell you the exact opposite. Why is this voice still so loud? Tell me.
Mm,
Why?
mm. Yeah, yeah, that's tough. But I also feel like the self-doubt is always there because like you said, like the world encourages it too, because you
Yeah.
could feel like like when you think about our daughters, our little 5-year-old daughters,
Mm-hmm.
they believe in themselves. But I noticed with my daughter, she's starting to understand the world around her. She's starting to compare herself, and she know that there are girl, like she's learning how to do cartwheels. She can't get her legs all the way up over, but before she saw other girls do it, she's the best cartwheeler there is, and she
Yeah.
would show everyone that she can cartwheel. And then she's seen, she does gymnastics, and these girls is black back flipping, triple, double decker, whatever they do. And she's like, I can't do it. I don't know how. I'm not enough anymore. And
Yeah.
so her comparison to others help her, has made her see different of herself. And so I just pour into her and say, look at where you've come. Look, when you didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
how to do a little forward roll, you can do that easily and quickly. And so eventually, when you get to be that girl's age, you'll be able to do that. And so what she does with that on the inside will kind of, if it's, if she can digest that in a healthy way, then she will kind of continue to move through it. However, as as we, grow in this world, we're going to constantly get feedback, unfortunately, that we're not enough. Being women, being black, being new at something, we're going to get that feedback. So sometimes it's not even that we believe that we are imposters, it's that the world is suggesting that we are. And it can get a little mixed up in our minds because we are, just being who we are due to the traumas of the society. We have doubt that's kind of just been part of our life. And then someone confirms it by saying, well, you don't have this and you can't do that. So then you think that you're an imposter when actually you believed in yourself until you started to get that feedback. So it's like a double whammy. You have these
Mm-hmm.
self-doubts, and then the world, in so many subtle ways, sometimes it's subliminal. It's not even people literally out to get you. It's just
Right.
the way that it's set up sometimes, that we struggle. Our walk as entrepreneurs can be very different from people of different environments. And so for that reason alone, Tiara, give yourself grace, because there are people who start academies, who call themselves coaches, who do whatever, and they may not have a lick of experience or a lick of inspiration, and no one is saying anything about them. But you will put in the work. You are honest about what you know, what you don't know, and you may question it. And that's okay, but just keep going, because you're not going to always be new. You're not going to always be a novice at anything if you continue to do the work. Now, if you get further along and you still don't believe that you have the capability, then it's probably a whole lot more deeper than the whole cliche, imposter syndrome. It may be some deeper work that we have to do with ourselves, because it may be some unhealed wounds that we have to address. But you can let imposter go. You can let it go. Give it its
But
rightful place in the corner. Like literally like an actress. Like, you have to say, like, this is what I do with my customers. Because oftentimes, if I'm dealing with corporate clients, I'm thinking they probably like to hope that I have 20 years of experience. I've been established since 1985 or something like that. And I haven't. I just started. Or they're my first client doing this particular thing. And I'm
mm-hmm.
nervous, but I have to project confidence, capability, expertise, that I'm going to solve their problem and they're going to be left satisfied and their money was well spent. That's stressful. But we know how to pull that off because we're running a business and we're generating money. And so all the self-doubt, I mean, if we're smart enough, we don't bring that to the table with us. What we do is we sit it down somewhere and we do what we have to do to the best of our abilities. And then sometimes we put the burden back on our back and go home. That's the problem. But what I've learned to do is, because I used to be extremely like bashful. Even when I was doing loan signings, very shy, very nervous. As soon as that customer will open their door so that we can do their refinance, to me, I would say showtime, and I would turn into, I'm heading this signing. I'm sitting at the head of the table. I am directing all the signers. This is how it's going to go. I set the tone, and so more activity like that built my confidence. It made,
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the outcomes. I looked at what I accomplished, and I'm like, okay, so why am I waking up today with all this self-doubt, with all these limiting beliefs? Let me check the roster. And I look at
Mm-hmm.
all the things that I have done. I have to literally make myself, because I will wait for someone else. Like, I will wait back in the day, wait for my employer to tell me what I've done. I'll wait for other people to kind of say, great job, Corinne. But I literally, being a solopreneur, I would have to sit and say, okay, let's do a year in review here. I was able to generate all of this money by my actions alone. I was able to overcome fears. I never thought that I would be doing this. I didn't think I was able to solve that problem, or I survived that, disaster. And then I say, so what makes me think I can't do that if I've done all of this? And so talking myself through that has healed a lot of unnecessary limiting beliefs. And so when new things pop up, because, our minds, we got that muscle memory, it comes right back. I put it in its rightful place. Or if it overtakes me, I know that I'll give myself a day at most and I'm coming back. And I was not like that. I was not like that. At most a year ago, I was willing to at least face the fear, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready or wise enough to like overcome it. And I think I'm getting there. And so were you.
And that's the thing about imposter syndrome is that your inside just does not reflect your outside. Like your outside is that's the reality. Like these are all of the real things. The real thing is I created this Wedding Efficient Academy. Everything I've ever put out has always helped people. I have people who have started their business and have gotten weddings. I have people who changed literally their pricing structure to follow mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those
Mm-hmm.
the whole point of imposter syndrome is because you is that bitch. You
Mm-hmm.
struggling, you know what I'm saying, to like
Mm-hmm.
recognize that you can be value and you don't have to just keep it to yourself, because I feel like that's the result. It's like I put all this good stuff out and people have like really great benefits from it, and then I have my my moment or two, and then I keep all my goodness and my value to myself, and that don't benefit anybody. Like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I get to use it, but that's also limiting because only I can use it. Like we wasn't created for this. We was created to share the things that we learned. That's why, podcasts are super important, because you're sharing your opinion, you're sharing your thoughts. You are basically helping someone along and gathering this community of individuals that you probably never met and would probably be so afraid to talk about this in real life, like outside of their bedroom. I'm
Yeah.
inside my bedroom and I'm still talking about it, but still, like, like afraid to put that like out there in the world. And that's the thing. And I feel like that has always been at least my struggle of like trying to where the peaks of it come from, because it's never proven, baby. I've always had the juice. Like, my couples are extremely satisfied with the work that I do. Anyone who ever encounters me leaves a better person than, where they were. And it can be a 1% better. It don't matter. It's better. And so it's just funny because we can fall into, again, the depths of our minds that create this environment for us, but our reality is so far from it
Mm-hmm.
that it's almost laughable that your mind can even conjure this up in the first place. But what I am going to try, which you said that I love, and maybe anybody who follows me, you'll see more stuff on my my Instagrams and my stories soon, is I'm gonna do the 1 2 3. We acting now, like 1 2 3. We're just going to put on our like best version of ourselves just to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yep.
feel like sometimes the imposter syndrome will stop you from getting stuff done. And again, it don't hurt nobody but the people that I'm trying to impact and give value to and help. It don't hurt me. Like, I'm fine. I'm still getting business. I'm still, marrying people. I'm still making my coin. Like, all of these things are still inside of me and I'm still doing them. But now I'm not sharing them with
Mm.
people And so that's different. Like that's where the difference comes in. And that's something I feel like I was placed in this world to do. So when I am shying away from doing that and I'm letting the limited beliefs stop me from doing that, now I'm dimming my light and God don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he like, girl, where we do that at? Like we don't do that. So I thank him for even pushing me to bring up this conversation because I feel like I needed it, but maybe somebody else is listening to this needed it too. And this is God telling you to get out of your own way. What you have in your mind is not the fruit of your labor, but you have to have labor. You have to sow in order to reap.
That's right. And I feel like I have I've said before, like needing other people's approval
Mm-hmm.
to feel like I've arrived at a certain place.
Yep.
And not that that's all, like I needed anyone's validation to be enough, but more so, congratulations, Corinne, you did a really good job. That feels good to feel that merit.
Right.
But when you have your own business, no one, like half my family don't really understand the business that I have to begin with. They just say, oh, you got a business, that is so cool, that's it. But the amount of work and blood, sweat, and tears, and the sleepless nights, and the worries, and the accomplishments, and the wins that sometimes are not monetary, you can't
Right.
always share those because people don't get it.
Yep.
And so I am learning how to stop and be like, you did that, Corinne. You had an
Mm-hmm.
amazing day. Like, you really have consistently made this X amount of money, or you are starting to see a change in the type of customers. Or sometimes when I handle a customer call and I'm doing multiple things, and I'm amazed at how I navigated it or convinced the customer to go with me, whether they actually pay me or not. I see that growth, and I have to stop and say, you did that. You
Yep.
should feel really, really proud of yourself. I purposely take the moment because no one else is going to do that for me. And the more I do that, the more my confidence grows, because it's just having my own self-belief. Because when the self-doubt comes in, when other things in my environment come in to tell me otherwise, I have built up confidence and value within myself to kind of counteract it. So when you get
Mm-hmm.
into new rooms, because think about it, as we grow our businesses, we're going to be entering more rooms, larger rooms, more opportunity that we haven't touched and experienced before. And then that's when the limiting beliefs can pop back up. We don't belong here. We don't
Right.
know enough. Are they fooled by us? And so that's when you have to remember, that's where all the work benefits you. Then you can say, yeah, I belong here because this is my rise. I'm making an ascension here. So I should be in these spaces, because there's going to be one day where I'm inviting people coming up behind me into these spaces, and they belong here too. So I
Right.
felt like it's a bigger responsibility than just, being so into selfishly being into like what we need and what we're doing. We're
Yep.
paving ways for people that we don't even realize. So I
Yeah.
think it's a much bigger responsibility. So when you have such a broader perspective, you can't not think positive. You cannot afford to let your limiting beliefs take you down. You just can't.
But that piece is really like the you're as you grow, you're going to enter these rooms. At least for me, of entering these rooms is to learn enough to come back and teach y'all. The people who were not as literally the point to invite you to these rooms, or you get invited to these rooms, or you create your own rooms, or I create my own rooms and I invite you, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
point.
Just like that. That's it.
Just like that. So, yes. All right. So, you know what? You are absolutely right. A lot of my imposter syndrome is, I would say, somewhat attached to like selfishness.
Mm.
And it's, I would say that because that's the result of it, right? When I start to get like into my imposter bag, then I become selfish. And I become selfish with my light. I get selfish with my information. I get selfish with the value that I can provide to someone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these things. And it's like, it's really not about that. It's really
Mm-hmm.
about sharing as much value as I can to like help that next person. Like that's what I went into entrepreneurship for. It was like, yes, it was for me, but breaking generational curses and being a change maker, that all comes with the responsibility outside of you. Literally, breaking it literally means that you're doing stuff that your former generations struggle to do, that your future generations is going to thank you for. That's beyond you.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So for me, my limited beliefs is like, uh, you gotta stop. At least for me, you gotta stop being selfish. You have to put this out in the world. It doesn't matter who takes it, who doesn't take it, because we also know that too. You could put out information and not what they say. 40% of the people don't even, probably more than that, but 40% of the people don't do nothing with everything that you've said. Even if you've written out the blueprint, gave them a checklist with deadlines, descriptions, and people to a whole scavenger hunt,
Mm-hmm.
still won't do it.
That's very true. That is
So
very true.
it's pretty beyond me at this point. Like, it's beyond me. Like, I'm giving it up to God. It's beyond me.
But you can
And
also give it a new name too. Like
mm,
you don't have to be married to the idea of imposter syndrome. You don't. You can choose.
okay.
We have the freedom to choose everything, and we don't have to stay in these boxes of imprisonment in our minds. You can choose to say, I mean, as you unpack it and kind of explore it, you can give it a new name, whatever that may be. For me,
Mm-hmm.
everything is not fear or a threat. It's something new. It's something unfamiliar. So
Right.
now I know, like for instance, I met with the woman yesterday, a notarization appointment, and it was a corporate client, and it was my first appointment with her. More to come, thankfully. And she and I were talking, and she says, "Do you offer fingerprinting services?" And I said, "No, there's a cap on the number of vendors in this state, blah blah blah." And she says, "I don't think so. I was looking into it. You might be wrong." And I said, "Oh, really? Cool. I'll look into it." So then she says, "Because I would love if you offered that. Maybe we could work together on it, collaborate." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." She says, "Yeah, maybe I could purchase the digital machine because it's very expensive, and you can offer the service. We could just talk about it." And I thought to
Mm.
myself, you know what happened immediately? Oh my gosh, I've never done that. She's going to find me out. She's going to know that I don't have like all these partnerships. How do I even do that? Who would pay for
Mm.
that? Do we have a contract in place? Ah! In seconds. She's going to understand. She thinks I'm this real official business. So all of that is all lies, right? And so and then I said, wow, what a cool opportunity. And it comes at a time because I've evolved in a place where it's perfect for me. Now, if this was a
Mm.
year ago, I wouldn't even know what she's talking about. And
Right.
so when she said that, I thought the only reason why, Corinne, you feel a little uncomfortable is because this is something you haven't done. But just like everything you've done over the last year has been something you haven't done. So
Right.
congratulations on exploring something new so that you can have more opportunities to grow and make money and have a seat, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it.
So my point is I can give it a different name. Everything does not have to be um I'm not ready. I don't have enough. I don't know enough. I don't belong here. It's, oh, this is unfamiliar, and that's why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And I just kind of mute out all those old ways of thinking because it's literally habit. So I'm trying to put more thoughts into my head that will start to pop up naturally versus my automatic response to I don't know enough, because that's BS.
I love that. And thank you for saying that. And off the top of my head, I think one thing that I've kind of always almost like taken pride in is being a novice and is being willing to try, is being willing to learn. I always want to know like the most best efficient, way of doing something and just get more knowledgeable in whatever it is that I am considering. So I think that's really my perspective switch that I am going to, or pivot that I'm going to try for like the next month. Anything new that comes to me and I'm like, ooh, all right, you're really testing me here. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm excited to learn something new. Like, I'm excited to be a novice again because like those things actually did excite me. But as soon as I feel like a lot of times we need, or we feel like we need to go from novice to expert,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
and it's
It's not
nothing in
necessary.
between.
That is so true, Tiara. Oh my gosh. And we put ourselves under so much unnecessary stress for that reason.
Yep.
Mm.
Literally. So, if you need to be released from limited beliefs today, I really hope and pray that this episode has helped you. I know it's definitely helped me. And limited beliefs is anything that literally allows you to limit yourself. You are amazing. You are a light. You are an innovator. You are a change maker. So, anytime that you set out to do something, you know that you can do it. We're not going to let ourselves tell us what we can and cannot do.
You
What?
pretty.
That sounds crazy.
I love it.
Yes, that sounds crazy. So, if you've experienced limited beliefs and you have used a tool or a tactic or a tip that has helped you push through it in those moments, please, please, please comment and share what you have tried. You do not know what somebody else may try and it may be very beneficial to them, or an idea that someone hasn't even thought of. So please share. As always, we love you guys and we thank you so much for listening to us. It is Womenomics Wednesday, and
Woohoo!
that is another episode. Here we are. Bye, y'all. See you next week.
Bye.